So I think we can all agree music is a huge source of joy for all of us. It gets us through rough times. It unites people of all different backgrounds, and it gives a lot of people, a purpose. For me personally, a source of therapy and meaning and happiness. But today I'm talking about the things that are really good at sucking the joy out of music, the business, and the copyright side of things. So I want to dissect the incident from me getting a channel strike and all that. And so I'm going to ignore the chat for a bit and just talk, but I want to hear what you think at the end. So I'll be going through the chat when I'm done to hear all your thoughts on it and stuff. But this is such a dream come true to see these two bands coming together. Both fan bases are so tight-knit online and in person, and strong fan bases that want to support the bands. And like I said, this is uniting people from all corners of the world, having these two bands, The Warning and BAND-MAID, coming together for a collaboration. But unfortunately, sometimes when you're uniting many different cultures, it can naturally lead to discord because everyone has their own strong ways of doing things. It's just natural, So this has been a pretty big learning experience for me. I've been trying to gain more and more understanding over these last couple of days of exactly what happened and, why I have a channel strike, and I'm more at peace with it now. So basically, someone from the Warning's crew had live streamed the collaboration Show Them. Not the official Warning page, but apparently a crew member. I didn't see it on Instagram. It was shown to me, and it was taken down immediately. But many fans all over the world latched on to this because they're passionate about their favorite bands. We're always ravenous for new music, and we all selfishly want to be one of the first to hear what's coming out. So that was exciting, but mainly this collab is the biggest news that I can remember ever. These two bands coming together is epic for us. We've been anticipating this for months since they announced they were going to play a show together and wondering whether this would happen, speculating, are they going to collab? And I reacted to this and also reformatted the phone footage to be easier to watch. And that night I received a copyright strike on my channel, which is scary because if you get 3 of those, your channel disappears. So yesterday it felt like a gut punch to get a strike, but now I know it was their only option to get it taken down immediately because they don't have time to reach out to everybody, ask them to take it down. They had to do that, and I realized that what I did probably felt like stabbing them in the back because they only had a plan to release the short clip. So they weren't planning on anyone streaming it, and definitely not it being shared all over YouTube. So it was pretty short-sighted of me to just jump on that and start sharing it. I got caught up in the overwhelming excitement that I was just talking about, and I wanted to tell everyone in my audience about it right away because it's huge. It's so huge, and it's so exciting. But there's a huge issue with it, which is it's illegal to film concerts in Japan if they don't want them filmed. I always figured this was just, a common venue policy, but I guess if someone requests not to be filmed in Japan, they have the right to sue you if you film them. Now, I don't think the person who streamed this will actually get in trouble because, it's the choice of the ones who were filmed whether to sue or not. And I don't think BAND-MAID wants to burn a bridge with The Warning, and I also feel like if it was clearly communicated to everybody in the crew, they obviously wouldn't have done this intentionally. It's kind of, it's a tradition for The Warning to be live streaming their concerts, and someone was just really excited to get it out there. But I think, The Warning wants people who can't afford to be at their concerts to still be a part of it. So they live stream them all the time on Instagram, and those get shared all over the place. It's never been a problem. But they were on Japanese soil, so those rules should be respected. you know, everyone makes mistakes, and I think that's what happened here. And it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances that led to this bummer of a situation that, you know, that side of music that can suck the joy out of it. Now, there's a concern, could this do more harm than good? Obviously, they don't want to spoil the actual full release, and I totally understand that. That mystery of anticipation of what the song's going to be, it's fun, and I feel really sorry that I contributed to, you know, going against their plans for how they want to release a song. I would never want to hurt either of these bands. But, you know, unfortunately, artists in general don't have the power to pick and choose what fans latch on to and what they get excited about, what they want to share with each other, what they want to talk about with each other. And when something like this is leaked from a seemingly official source, like a crew member, that cat's out of the bag, you know? There's no putting it back in. So is this incident likely to hurt the official release? Well, I did some digging, and I looked into Hell You Call a Dream, you know, that song The Warning put out in March. There were actually fan cams of that taken way back in October when they first did the live premiere. October 21st, 2023 is when they first premiered that live, and there were fan cams circulating for a long time. Lots of reactions, people getting excited. But did it hurt the live premiere? No. In less than 3 months since the release of that live video has over 1 million views. Even with all those fan cams out there, even with the full song being out as fan cams, people used that and got excited. They wanted to see that official release from the band. And it did really well for them. For a comparison, you know, that's over 1 million views now. None of BAND-MAID's official live videos have crossed the 500K threshold for the past 4 releases. So 1 million views in this corner of the internet, rock, which is already a difficult genre to get people interested in, you know? It's still a pretty small minority of people who are into rock. 1 million views is huge. So anyway, it's safe to say that fan cams don't really negatively impact the performance of a song release. They do more good, I think, building that hype, getting people excited, because hearing a crappy phone audio version will never actually replace the experience of the proper final mix that people really want to hear. It just gets them excited to hear that mix. You know, in the case of Show Them, from what I saw when that was up and available, all I saw was hype, and specifically people being like, I can't wait to hear the actual release of the song, the official release. We were all hyping each other up. I know me and Eric had this long discussion in Discord, both of us just nerding out over how cool this is to see these two bands together, how cool the song is, the arrangement, everything. And go to the BAND-MAID Discord is a great example of that as well. Everyone just feeds off each other, building this hype, and by the time the official comes out, they're going to swarm that. They're going to be all over it because they know it's going to be a great song, and they're excited for it. Now, on the other side of this, there's the Japanese culture that they want to protect, which is awesome, you know? The Japanese music scene is amazing. It produces a lot of the best music on earth. And everyone I've talked to who has gone over there to see concerts has had amazing experiences traveling to Japan, visiting the concerts there. You don't have cell phones blocking your view of what's going on. Everyone's fully present, enjoying the performances, enjoying the show. It's a really beautiful thing. So that Japanese music scene is sacred. And, you know, I think it's great the way it is. But it's very different from the way things are overseas, especially in North America. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because, you know, in 2024, video sharing is the ultimate music promotion tool. People crave authenticity with all the AI these days. And I know we were talking I was talking to Decodec about this song, and Eric actually mentioned from Decodec that he prefers fan cams over official live videos because it's real. You're hearing that real room energy. You're hearing what their real performance sounds like. And I think it creates stronger bonds to those bands to see the real performances undoctored. You know, there's a lot of value to that. I don't think it ever replaces the official releases. It's just kind of a supplement. You know, the official releases are like the 3-course meal, meaty and meat and potatoes. And the fan cams are like a multivitamin, you know? They're not going to replace that. They are a supplement that gets people excited, gets people bonding better with that. And in general, you know, BAND-MAID's done an amazing job embracing that. I know during the pandemic, Vladimir Chupin's fan cams really made me fall in love with BAND-MAID when I wasn't able to see them live, you know, because all the concerts were canceled. I was still able to see that authentic live show experience, feel like I was in the room watching those fan cams. And it made me more in love with BAND-MAID, more passionate about them, and probably why I'm so obsessed with them now. So I think, you know, fan cams actually make you appreciate the pro shot videos more, and they definitely serve an important purpose in the music scene these days. So, you know, I think this is a pretty mutually beneficial collab. I don't think BAND-MAID's management is going to go after the Warning over this, you know. And it just seems like it really boils down to the clashing of the two cultures. It's bound to happen when you bring together two huge bands that have really passionate fan bases from opposite sides of the world. It's just differences in opinion, differences in way of doing things. I'm not saying either one's better. You know, they both work for whoever's using them. And I don't think it's worth fighting over, but it's also pretty impossible to try to control everyone when you have a massive fan base. You have visitors from overseas. It's just, I don't know. What happens, happens. You can't control it, I don't think. But anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on this.